Good afternoon. What are you guys' names?
Hi, I'm Tammy DeRobio.
My name's Dave McDonald, but my friends call me D Mizzle.
Okay, so where do you guys live in Washington, D.C.?
1221 Fairmont Street, Northwest.
Why are you telling them our exact
20009. Come on,
Oh my God. Okay.
Which is in Columbia Heights.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you. Are you guys native Washington?
Washingtonians?
No,
No, I moved here in 1992.
I moved here in a different date than that. And I'm from Michigan.
How long have you been residents in Washington, D.C.? Well, in Columbia Heights.
I moved into the neighborhood that we live in now, into the house that we live in now, in 1996. But I left for graduate school and came back and moved back in the house in 2000. Or I left for grad school in '99 and then came back and moved in 2003.
I think I've been there for 7 years, so 2009.
Okay. What has changed in y'all neighborhoods that either benefited or changed for the?
We got an IHOP. 3 pancakes.
When I moved there in '96, there was no metro. And there was a lot of crime, a lot more crime than there was now. I got pulled over once for being white because girls that look like me were either there to prostitute themselves or buy drugs. So the police pulled me over one night when I got off my shift bartending, and they asked me, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm going home." And they made sure I put a key in the door before they left. So obviously the neighborhood's changed a lot. It's a lot more diverse.
It's changed for the better. Next question.
We got a Chipotle, dude.
Did that possible?
And a Target.
So it benefited you by the
It's
food.
good.
There's also Target.
Target, Best Buy,
So basically, y'all got
Chick-fil-A now.
more-
Chick-fil-A, yep.
Yes,
Except she doesn't like Chick-fil-A.
Bed Bath Beyond,
We went there the other day.
Yeah.
We were down there taking-
Payless Shoes,
Z-Burger.
U Street is awesome.
Zebra.
Like it used to be, there was only like a couple weird Russian clubs down on U Street, and now it's like chock full of places that you can eat and go out drinking. Although Florida Avenue Grill is still there, which
That's
is
my
awesome.
food. That's my food.
Okay, what is something significant about your neighborhood? And does it still exist there? Like a landmark or anything?
The park, Meridian Park, is there. The Civil War, the Black Civil War Museum or
I thought
Memorial
that was in Shaw.
is in Shaw. Yeah, that's Shaw. That's U Street. Let's see, Columbia Heights.
We have this weird fountain that kids go and play in. It's true, we have that. It's creepy. I don't like it.
That's because older men sit there that without children and just watch the children play in the water. It's kind of gross.
We have a farmer's
Ew.
market sometimes there. Significant. Oh, the
Howard
this-
University.
Howard
I
University.
mean, it could have been there and now it's gone, or it still exists. Like something that's really ancient, like a church.
I think there's an embassy there.
Or the Tivoli
Is it
Theater.
the Mexican embassy? Is over there?
The Tivoli. Oh, the theater's still there though.
Yeah, that's
But it says
yeah.
Z-Burger
Oh,
now.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, no, Z
Yeah,
Burger's
Z-Burger.
underneath it. They still actually show movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Usually they're Spanish movies. Or yeah.
Has the environment changed, such as race, different races moved there?
Yeah. There's a lot more white people there.
So basically, what you're saying is, there's a lot of people, white people in Columbia Heights.
There's a lot. Well,
Well,
I
there's
mean,
more.
yeah.
It
Like
was-
I said, I got pulled over for being white back in the day, so that doesn't happen ever anymore.
Why you gotta keep bringing that?
I'm
up?
just saying, like obviously the demographic of the neighborhood has changed a lot. Seeing me there is not an odd thing.
I think it's diverse though. Like Mount Pleasant is right next door. It's a high Latino population, so between African American, Caucasian, and Latino, I think it's a good mix actually. Columbia Heights.
So has the diversity style changed your neighborhood for the better or for
I think diversity is way better for our neighborhood. I don't want to really live in a neighborhood that's just one race or one socioeconomic status. I like the the diversity. I like that anybody can kind of live in Columbia Heights and feel comfortable. And it brings in a lot of things. There's like a lot of great soul food around. There's a lot of good.
Welcoming.
Yeah, there's a lot of good like Latino restaurants, and I like that, to have that option and to be around all that different. There's a lot of different festivals there that come. It seems like there's always something going on, particularly in the summertime.
Okay, so what would you say was the biggest impact on your neighborhood and why?
I think the fact that the housing is way more expensive. So the house that I live in, the owner bought it for just under $200,000. If he sold it today, it would be closer to $850,000. So, like, the pricing of the houses is just incredibly high now, and rents there are really high. So that changes the demographic significantly. Like, there are still houses. There's two like shelters on my street, battered women shelters. So they're still there, so they haven't, like, you know, they owned the property, so, like, you know, as long as they can keep up with the taxes, they can stay. But there are some neighbors that, because the taxes went up so much, they, you know, decided to just sell their house for 800 times the profit and try to live somewhere else. So it's changed who can comfortably live there financially.
I also think like the Metro brought in a lot of businesses like the Target and stuff that we talked about earlier, and so it's convenient for people to get things they need easily, and so that, you know, that creates a demand for living. So they've built up a lot of apartments around the area, so there's a lot of good living areas, and it's a relatively safe neighborhood to live in, I think.
Okay, since gentrification has been a big thing in your neighborhood, what are the pros and cons you've seen in your neighborhood?
Con is it hurts diversity. I think that people who have lived there for a long time now can't afford to live there. People who may be of lower economic standing can't come in, so they lose that convenience. Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue.
I mean, there's still like apartments that are designated as low income, and there's an apartment building 2 doors down from us where you had to make under $60,000 in order to buy a place there. So, like, they're trying to keep it diverse socioeconomically, not just racially, but socioeconomically. They're trying, but because most of them are privately owned townhomes, it's really pushing out who can actually afford to live there, or limiting it.
If you could improve your neighborhood, what would it be, and if so, what would most benefit your neighborhood and why?
I think mixing up the houses. Like, our street actually has very big houses, so most of them run between $1 million and $750,000, and because of the size of them, it's hard to keep the prices down. But if we had more options, so that, like, there were condos or apartment buildings that weren't very expensive, so that you could have more diversity.
For me, I think, just personally, because, you know, I'm an artist and an art teacher, I wish there were more art spaces, you know, places that you could make, you know, street art or sculpture or something like that to give it a little bit more culture. I think that'd be better in the neighborhood.
I think they also need to stop building those modern monstrosities. One of the worst things that came out of the riots was that every building that got burned down during that period of time is now not historically protected. So, like, my house, you can't change the facade of it because it's so old, but, like, you know, a couple doors down or a block away where a building was burnt down, they can now take down those houses and build these huge, like, glass buildings that don't fit in with the neighborhood, and that upsets me that the look of the neighborhood is changing. Like, I really like the look of the neighborhood, and now it's becoming very, like, high-rise glass building.
She's so long-winded.
No, I'm sorry.
Are you guys satisfied with your neighborhood? Would you ever move?
If something else came along, we would move. But as long as we're in DC, we'd like to stay here.
Yeah, we might need to become grown-ups at one point and buy a house of our own instead of renting from my friend. But but probably not. No. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for letting me, Elise Johnson, and Yolanda Whitmire.
Thank you for having us.